Hi guys, and welcome to Rathwulven Bushcraft. Thanks a lot for tuning in. It is time for another episode of Bushcraft Bullshit, a series of videos in which I like to address misconceptions or even myths that establish themselves in the survival and bushcraft community. And in this specific video, I would like to talk about the common misconception that nettles are a superfood when it comes to surviving. And if you want to know why, then join me in this video. Let's go. Okay, so before I get to the gist of this video, let me quickly explain to you why I'm shooting it in the first place. If you haven't seen my 72-hour survival training documentary, I'm going to link the playlist right up here. Make sure to check it out after this video. But yeah, in essence, I went out for 3 consecutive days, not bringing any food or water supplies with me, carrying a backpack with camera gear and sleeping gear, and then hiking about a couple of dozens of kilometers in steep terrain. And I wanted to show you what that does to the human body if you're not consuming any animal-based protein and you're basically just foraging for greens as edibles, right? And a lot of people put comments underneath the video or reached out via message and asked, hey, why do you make all that effort of digging out roots and processing these roots or bulbs and just putting energy and calories into the food processing, right? When you could just go to the side of the road and just get a couple of nettles, just put them into a stew and then just eat those nettle leaves or whatever and survive. And yeah, the question itself is of course justified. There's just one big problem. If you want to keep your energy levels high in the outdoors, right, you would need about 2000 kilocalories a day if you are resting, as a man at least. If I would do heavy activities, such as for example hiking up that hill, that might add up to about 3000 or 4000 calories a day. And nettles do not contain a lot of calories. 100 grams of nettles contain 45 kilocalories. That means 1 kilo of plant mass contains 450 calories. That's just a breakfast, right? And that adds up to 4 kilograms of plant mass if I would need to get the 2000 calories out of nettles themselves, right? For those who use the imperial system, that would basically be about 10 pounds. And now I got a challenge for you. If you want to, go outside and try to eat those 4.5 kilos of tasteless, green, maybe even bitter plant mass in one turn. And tape yourself and send me that footage. Let's make it a bet. I'll throw in $5 if you can do it, because you will not be able to devour that amount of plant mass. Simply doesn't happen. That's the first point. Second point is that if you would eat all of that material, most of that is actually fibers, so it has no nutritional value. Why do you think it is that we use nettles for making cordage? Self-explanatory, right? And when it comes to fibers, there's another issue. If it goes in, it needs to come out. So that's going to be a literal pain in the butt if you have to get rid of about, like, let's say 2.5 to 3 kilograms of fibers, right? I think you catch my drift. Then we got another issue. If I would eat all of that plant material, I would need to drink more water, because my body's on overdrive and needs to separate the fibers from the tiny bit of nutrients that are contained in the nettle plant. So yeah, basically I'm dehydrating while eating. So I'm creating another problem while not fixing the first problem, which is hunger and sustenance in essence. And we didn't even talk about the diuretic effect of nettles, because nettles basically stimulate the production of urine. They flush the body in essence. So you got a lot of water that basically goes through your body. You need to go pee. So you need more water because you're dehydrating even further, right? Think about it. People drink nettle tea if they got some kind of gastrointestinal issues, bladder infections, and so on. Makes sense, right? So the big question is, how can myths like that establish in the survival and bushcraft community? There's 2 reasons. First one being that a lot of YouTubers and content creators and such are just in that business for entertainment reasons and because they want your money. So that's why they do these videos which have titles like 24-hour super extreme survival, only with a knife, eating nettles only. And of course that makes no sense, right? Because you're not in a life-threatening situation. The next day after your overnighter, you go home, you take a shower, you go to the fridge and get yourself some food, or maybe you call the pizza guy and get some pizza delivered, right? And everything's fine. Not even my 72-hour challenge that I linked up there is a genuine survival situation. It's basically just training. But a lot of people don't tell you this, and this is what causes the second problem. There's a couple of beginners out there that just see that type of footage and then start to mimic that. They copy it, put it on their own TikTok, Instagram, on the YouTube channel and such, and all of a sudden such information, quote unquote, establishes itself as a quote fact unquote in the community. Makes sense, right? So yeah, I hope you could learn something from that. And I also want to end on a positive note. I mean, nettles are anything but useless. As I mentioned already, you can use them for making cordage and certain types of crafting projects, right? And it certainly is true that the seeds of the female nettle plant do actually contain quite some valuable oils, fats, and also proteins that you can use as emergency food source, right? So, just to be fair, if you know how to identify these seeds, you're doing a great job and you can of course use this. Problem though is that about 9 out of 10 YouTubers show you how they eat these seeds, and actually they're eating the male pollen sacs of the male plant. So yeah, there we go again with false information, you know, and if you passively absorb that, you're not learning much. And if you want to, I got a suggestion there. I could shoot a video for you in which I'm going to demonstrate how to identify a female nettle plant and a male nettle plant. If that's of interest to you, drop a comment below. Just tell me that you'd like to see this and I'll go out and shoot a bit of footage for you, all right? So yeah, as I said before, I hope this was of value to you. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support videos like these, maybe also consider becoming a Patreon. I'm going to put the links to all of my platforms down below in the info box. Just check it out. And up until then, I wish you a great time outdoors. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye. If you want to support my channel, please consider becoming a Patreon. You can visit my Patreon page on www.patreon.com/Rathwulven Bushcraft. A link to my Patreon page will also be posted in the information box below. Thank you in advance.